You have exhausted my patience. Flee, mortal, before you are forced to bear witness to your own destruction. I will feast on your very liver. Your eyeballs. And last but certainly not least, your quaking, shaking little heart. Crap.
Hi there, I'm Ben and welcome to Should You Platinum, the series where I help you decide whether to platinum a game or not. This week we're taking a look at Ubisoft's third offering for this year, Immortals Fenyx Rising. Immortals Fenyx Rising, as you probably well know, used to go by another much better name, Gods and Monsters. But due to some absolute nonsense claim from Monster Energy,
we're the monsters,
the name was changed. Thankfully, one thing that hasn't changed from the original reveal is the look of the game. On the surface of it, Immortals, I'm not saying Fenyx Rising every time, looks quite simple, maybe even a bit basic, almost like a kid's game. But when you get into it, it really is not. It looked absolutely amazing while playing it on the PS5, one of the best looking games I've played this year in fact, but most importantly though, it ran flawlessly. Ubisoft have released 3 titles in just a couple of months, and what I'm about to say is weirdly surprising, but yet at the same time, isn't. Immortals is the best of the 3 titles in my opinion, of course. While Watch Dogs Legion was a bit bland and meh, Assassin's Creed Valhalla was just too much, Immortals sits nicely in the middle. I can't believe I just managed to stay away from a Goldilocks analogy then.
And that's just right.
Damn it. That's not to say that the game is perfect, it's not. Anyway, this is not a review of Immortals Fenyx Rising, rather this is a review of the process of getting the Platinum Trophy in Immortals Fenyx Rising. Fenyx Rising's trophy list is very Assassin's Creed-esque, as you probably may imagine with the game being made by the same guys as Assassin's Creed Odyssey. In fact, they moved straight from Odyssey to Immortals. They obviously couldn't get enough of that sweet, sweet Greek mythology.
I'm here, Olympians, and I have a plan.
The main thing the 2 trophy lists share is a lack of 100% criteria, meaning you don't have to do everything the game has to offer. Don't get me wrong, you still need to do the vast majority, maybe 80-90%, but knowing that you can just leave a hard to reach chest because you don't need them all makes for a much more enjoyable platinum process. It always does. There are still some trophies for completing all, acquiring all, and fully upgrading all. These do still require you to play and complete a lot of the open world events to collect certain materials for upgrading. For instance, to fully upgrade your health you will need to collect a lot of crystals known as ambrosia, but there are way more in the world than you actually need. The same goes for Zeus's lightning for fully upgrading stamina, and the coins for fully upgrading the skills and godly powers trees. I love it when a game does this, it allows for a lot more relaxing experience when completing the game. Anything could go wrong when you need to find everything in a game. You could miss something and not know what or where it is, and spend hours searching the map, or even worse, dare I say it, a glitch may happen. What makes this process even more enjoyable is the way the map and the open world work. Firstly, the map is not unnecessarily large, it's pretty modest by today's standards. 5 main areas and that's it. Of course, with this being a Ubisoft title, it has a vantage point in each area that will unfog the area of the map when you reach the top of it and synchronise, but that doesn't add all the locations to the map. For that they have a mechanic known as Farsight, which weirdly was one of my favourite parts of the game. Press R3 and you'll switch to a zoomed in first person mode. From there you can look around the world and try and find locations, chests, ambrosia and challenges, practically everything. When you're near something, the controller will start to vibrate, and once you have pinpointed it, you can press R2 to mark it on your map permanently. On PS5 it actually uses the adaptive triggers to an extent as well. You can use Farsight at any time and you don't actually have to have a direct line of sight to the location, you can scan through walls and mountains. Another location type that you'll mark on your map this way are the Vaults of Tartarus. These are like individual challenge rooms. You'll have to do quite a few of these, but again, not all of them. There is a trophy for completing 25 of them, but most importantly the game's only missable trophy is tied to these vaults. While most of the vaults are large scale puzzles which actually get you thinking sometimes, some of them are battle arenas. The missable trophy in question is Luck No Hands. To unlock it you need to kill 10 enemies using traps inside these vaults. Now don't worry, this can be done across multiple vaults, and there are plenty of opportunities. What makes it missable is that once you complete a vault and find all the chests inside of it, as you leave it will collapse in on itself and you won't be able to re-enter it. Complete every vault and you'll be stuck. Just something to keep in mind and get out the way as soon as possible. Now the biggest surprise to me with this being an open world Ubisoft game is that there is actually a point of no return and the game will end once you complete the story. No free roam afterwards. I actually really like this. Story wise it makes sense. Sometimes you finish a game and you'll get put back in an open world and it will say something like, that was good but there's still work to do, and narratively it never makes sense. Don't worry though, the game does warn you of this point of no return and actually makes a save just before you enter so that you can load it up in case you missed anything. Even if you wanted to complete this game to 100%, I still don't think it would feel like a chore. Like I said, it's very puzzle heavy, which means most tasks do feel different from one another. This is not to say that the puzzles are difficult, they are well put together, and just at the point where you start feeling like you might need to look up a guide, that's the point where the solution will come to you. Now that's enough talk about completion. There are miscellaneous trophies as well, some of which look pretty difficult when you first see and attempt them. For example, combo for reaching the final combo stage. I should have chosen an easier one to say. You can't do this right away when you start the game. You'll need to get a combo of 85 plus. To reach this, you'll need upgrades. Once you have all the skills upgraded, you'll be getting combos of well over 85 without trying. Another good example is glide 1000 meters in one go. Again, at the start, you will get nowhere near this. But once you've fully upgraded stamina and you get to a high enough point, you can fly across the whole map practically. And that's another thing, traversal is extremely fun and intuitive in Immortals. Going from objective to chest to challenge is always a very simple process. You can transition from running to riding to gliding to climbing seamlessly. Right, numbers time. First up, difficulty. You can play Immortals on the easiest difficulty. There are no difficulty related trophies. And while there are puzzles, these become very straightforward when you know what the game expects from you. So I'll go for a 3 out of 10 here. Time to platinum is probably going to be roughly the same for everybody, around 40 hours. My time was 41. Now the collectible count is kind of up for interpretation with this one. Most items are rewards for doing something else. The only true collectible I would say are the mounts. You need to find all 25 of them. So I'll say 25, but just know you need lots of materials and items, but they come as rewards for doing certain tasks. No glitches for me here, the game ran amazingly and without hiccups on the PS5. I've done a bit of research on the PS4 as well, and I have not seen any complaints about this game at all. And to end with, missable trophies, just the one I mentioned earlier, luck no hands. So to answer the title of the video, should you platinum Immortals Fenyx Rising? I'm going to say yes. Like I said at the start, the game is not perfect, but it's just fun and has that surface level simplicity and charm to it with a surprising level of depth. I couldn't help comparing the process of getting the platinum for this game to Spyro. Weird, I know, but with the gliding, the actual fun completion process and a strange feeling of nostalgic familiarity, I couldn't help compare the two in my head. Immortals does nothing particularly groundbreaking, but sometimes you just want a game that works and is a fun time. Immortals was one of those games for me, and I reckon it will be for you as well. Right, that's it from me. Let me know in the comments what you thought of Immortals if you've played it, and if you haven't, will you be going for the platinum now? Join me at the same time next week for another Should You Platinum. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.